Hey guys, it's Colonel Sanders here again today. Today we're going to be playing a little bit of 7 Days to Die. I thoroughly enjoy this game and I think it's a lot of fun, so I hope you guys enjoy watching it. And I've already got loaded in, because those of you who know anything about 7 Days to Die, that the load time is just forever. It takes a long time. So I just went ahead and got things loaded up, just changed a couple settings, nothing major, and we'll get going for the day. Alright. So, looks like I spawned in the desert, which is not awful, but not great. Got some yucca. Let's see. Collect some plant fibers. I am playing this on PlayStation 4, as well all my Let's Plays will be. The computer version is actually, there's got a lot more stuff than the PlayStation version does. Oh, actually, that's a wasteland over there. That's not good. But anyways, yeah, the computer version has a lot more things in it, which hopefully, maybe PlayStation will get it one day. But, you know, it is what it is. Unfortunately, ooh, there's a schematic. Unfortunately for the desert, there's really not a whole lot of wood around without having to punch a log for, 100 hits. And there's more schematics. Obviously, you kind of want to find a house for the first night. Usually that's what I do. I'll find a house for the first night. Use a little trick to level up my stats decently well. And then second night, that's when I usually try to make a house. Actually, when I first heard about this game, I watched some Let's Plays on YouTube, and I was like, I don't know about that. Just kind of, it looks like a bad game. Of course, at first it was pretty rough as well. But and then one night, my friends were like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna buy it, and we're gonna play it. And since then, I absolutely love this game. One thing that I have learned is that if you find snow, you can actually use a shovel to dig up snow, and you'll get snowballs. And you can actually, in a furnace, I think you have to have a cooking pot, but in a campfire, furnace, whatever you want to call it, you can make purified water just straight with snowballs. You don't have to worry about, going to find a lake and then getting murky water and then boiling it. You still have to use the campfire itself, but, if you 5 minutes tops, you'll get hundreds of snowballs, and you can just keep them, and I think it's one snowball for one bottle of water, which is actually really good. Let's see. Alright, so for those of you who never have played 7 Days to Die or haven't even heard of it, so basically, it's kind of like a Minecraft kind of thing, just, an open world sandbox, except it's just zombies. There's not really, well, I guess there's like giant bees and insects and stuff, but for the most part it's just zombies, and there are different types of zombies that can spawn. There's some that spit acid at you, there's spider zombies that climb, there's like screaming zombies, which are really creepy, and whenever they scream, they attract other zombies to their location. It's kind of got a Skyrim-esque like leveling up system, so the more you use construction tools, that skill levels up, and that gives you different perks and whatnot. So honestly, it's like just a big mixture of a bunch of different games. But the reason it's called 7 Days to Die is because every 7 days a giant zombie horde attacks your location. Oh, there's a house up there. Perfect. Usually it's not that hard to survive the horde. There's guns in the game, and guns are really useful. You can get a dirt bike so you can travel faster. You can get traps, which for console version, traps really only consist of, hey, there's some water source. It really only consists of like wooden spikes, which are extremely useful. But to my understanding, the PC version, there's actually like trap traps. So among the weekly hordes, another difference compared to like Minecraft game is that gravity is actually in effect. So some games you can just, you know, build wherever you want, as far as you want, no big deal. But in this game, you have to take into consideration gravity. I think you can only build, you know, a few blocks, 3 or 4 blocks out from your source, and that's all you can go. Another thing is, so with gravity is also kind of like a weight aspect. So if you're building a house, you can only make it, you have to have support, you know, whether it's support beams or a thicker base, you have to have some kind of support to, like, depending on how high you make your building anyways. So yeah, there's actually just a lot of different things taken into account for this game, which is just fascinating. You know, it's not every day you find a game that you know, takes in real life things. So you have to eat, you have to drink. You know, if you eat raw food, you get diarrhea. You know, you can break your leg, which, you know, it's not anything exciting. You just put a splint on so many real-world minutes, and there you go. But it just still has the idea of it anyways. You can get too hot, you can get too cold. I mean, if you do the math, you know, 60 minutes to reach 1 week of the game, 60 times 7, what, 420 minutes? That's a lot. You know, that's 7 hours of gameplay. Or if you play it like I normally do, where you do 120 minutes, you know, that's 14 hours before you ever get to a horde. You know, it's a lot. A lot of dedication to play this game. I always hate zombies when you first start this game because they just kick your ass. Like, no matter what you do, they just kick your ass. One unfortunate thing about doing this is every time you find a building like this out in the middle of nowhere, it's gonna have zombies. So, you know, if you're trying to find a place to stay for the first night like I do, you're gonna have to face zombies. And honestly, it's just easier just to start with a place that you found. Is it a claw hammer? Wow, that's pretty cool. It's easier just to start with a place that you found for 1 night. You know, use the little trick to upgrade different attributes and then go with that. There's tree stumps. Man, tree stumps have great loot, whether it's... Ooh, I think I hear a zombie. Whether it's night vision goggles or bunch of gear. What is that noise? Ah, it's 2 zombies. Alright, let's use a little bit of bow and action. Okay, bow and arrow action, my goodness. Ooh, I missed. Ooh, I'm stuck on something. Now it's stuck. Come on, come on, come on. And there's the 3rd zombie again, my goodness. Oh, there's another building over there. But hopefully I can kill these people. And at least have some kind of base of operations so I can maybe try to scavenge the other place. But set my spawn. Oof, okay. So I can set my spawn at least. Alright. She had some water and some food. Some sham sandwiches. As bad as they are for you. Are you kidding me? There's another freaking zombie. Jeez. There shouldn't be this many at one house. Dang it. I think there's one inside too. Oop, that's not my clutch. I need to get my hotbar shot. Ooh, I don't want to take too many hits. Ooh. Okay. I need to eat a little bit. Okay, let's eat the can of beans real quick. Alright, so let's loot this house. Let's break in here and we'll see what they got in store for us. In this game, I got some glass shards or glass panes. And if you scrap it, you get glass bits, I think. Whenever we get there, we'll take a look at it and I'll show you the exciting prompt for it. That pretty interesting to have in a game. I have another. What are followers on PlayStation? I don't know. Okay. All right. Let's see. We got the glass shards yet? Yeah, okay. So we have broken glass. That's what it is. Broken glass can be smelted into glass panes, or used to end it at the forge, or used to end it all if the apocalypse is just too much for you. What? That minus 10 health, internal bleeding, 100% if you use it. That's just a liability to even be carrying on you. I don't think that's the developers, advocating suicide or anything else. I think it's just them putting a little joke in there in hopes that people aren't too sensitive about that kind of topic. Oh yeah, there's poop in this game. 4 human turds. A disgusting turd. It can be used to craft fertilizer and craft a chemistry set. So yeah, I guess poop can be useful. It's not like art, however, where you actually take shit all the time. Thankfully. Alright, so it looks like now we are on the last little tutorial quest, which is just crafting a campfire, but I don't really have any stones. So for the time being, I'm going to lay down my bedroll. And I think I'm going to go over there and loot that house. But at least this way I have a spawn point, so I don't spawn randomly in the world. I am, however, going to drop a few things. I think I'm going to use this to heal myself, because I'm not in a good way on health. Let's continue breaking some of this stuff down. We will need short iron pipes for a forge, unless I can find one, which I did find out. If you have a wrench and you break a forge long enough, you will, in fact, get that forge. It's got a lot of durability, so I was really worried after how much effort I put into getting it, but it worked, so. This game does have some really good sound effects, that's for sure. They put me on a lot. Damn it. There's actually, I can't remember what it was for the life of me, but there was one movie I was watching that the loading title screen, like the sound effects or the music for this game, was actually in the movie. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Obviously, I'm assuming it's just basic sound effects, special, but it was still kind of cool that I can make that connection. Come on, die, you fucking horse. Okay, she's dead. This guy came out fast. Aiming for the head works better. I can't tell. Damn it, I'm infected. Okay, I think I have honey, so I won't. Not too worried. If you aim for the head, it seems to do a little more damage, and also it seems to stun them. With melee weapons, you gotta stun them, man. It's just, otherwise you just don't get anywhere. Ooh, well, let's down another level. Oh well, I'm not overly concerned about wellness at the moment. It is what it is. Where'd that nurse bitch go? Oh shit. Depending on the type of zombie, they usually drop different types of... Here it is. They usually drop different types of loot. Nurses usually have medicine on, but of course she didn't. Alright, so I finished looting this house. Nothing crazy valuable. I guess I should mention that in these types of houses, there are these locked doors that I just, totally dismissed the other house and probably should have clarified for some people. This is a metal reinforced door, so it's got, multiple layers and a lot of durability. And behind those doors is usually a gun safe. Gun safes have 2,500 durability. When a pick or a stone axe at this level, it's not going to get there. Let's see, damage to an entity. So 2,500, that's going to take a while, and it's just not worth it. Because usually in gun safes, like, oh, you think it's a gun safe, like, awesome, going to find me a gun and everything else. Usually, in terms of guns, it's usually just gun parts. So it doesn't really do you a whole lot of good. Because unfortunately, in this game, you have to find the recipe to learn how to put a gun together. So you can have all these different parts for a weapon that you should be able to use, but if you don't know the recipe, you can't actually do anything with it. So on the other hand, if you get lucky enough to find an actual weapon that's put together already, then you're good to go. But that's not always the case. So it's just gun safes, unless you can break them fairly quick, it's usually not really worth it trying to break into them at this low level. It's going to take too much time. Oh shit. Yeah, hitboxes are kind of iffy on this game, but yeah, it is what it is. They're like that, sometimes you can be aiming at a zombie and you hit the grass. So I just really hate grass. Things in Minecraft, I always get rid of the grass, but in this, I do believe that the grass grows best, just naturally. Not like with, bone meal or anything. Like I said, it's just kind of SOL in terms of trying to find resources in the desert, just simply because there's not a whole lot around, there's all these yucca plants. Ooh, there's a treasure map. Treasure maps, you can use them to find treasure, obviously. Unfortunately, though, it gives you like a 30-block radius. Like, once you step within that region, it just says that you're near it, but you don't actually know if you're in it. And you can upgrade the skill for treasure hunting to narrow it down. Usually, hunting for treasure it takes a whole day's worth of effort. I don't know if you guys heard that, but that was the sound of a rabbit dying, probably on a cactus. That was a little unnerving. So it looks like 2200 is the time for sunset. So I'm just gonna finish collecting some random resources, so that way we can be somewhat productive through the night. I'm not sure if any of you guys are familiar with this little trick or tactic, but basically you just make a bunch of, random materials, random items just to increase your skill while you're just waiting out the night. Because unlike Minecraft, you can't actually sleep through the night. You just have to kind of suck it up and go with it. Which, isn't all that bad, but sometimes it's just kind of annoying that, of the 60 minutes, probably 15 minutes of it is spent in the dark. And the current state of our well-being would not be very, very wise to go outside at night or to adventure or anything else. Let's see. Let's go ahead and just kind of post up down here for the night, just kind of give us some more protection. So essentially, since the idea of leveling up is basically doing the same thing over and over again, you can do things like, okay, so that's also the nighttime noise, like, hey, it's time for zombies to go sprinting around, so, again, kind of spooky. But, so the idea is to just make a bunch of different objects, so a bunch of different stone axes, and you'll increase your tool building skills. Make a bunch of different shirts to increase your, I don't know what the skill is called, tailoring or something. Let's see, let's go to this clothing. Yeah, tailoring. Some creaky noises. So while I'm up here and thinking about it, I'm going to use some honey to get rid of my infection. Alright, so no longer infected. Ooh, I'm kind of hungry. So let's see. I have some dog food and a can of ham. So to kind of save yourself in the future for the grindiness, I really encourage everybody to do this kind of tactic on your first night while you're just kind of waiting the night out, because your first night out, it's not the smartest of ideas to be going out and about trying to do stuff. Oh, I can hear a zombie. But, yeah, so rather than just kind of struggling for a few days trying to, have things decent, you might as well just spend the first night just spamming it and getting it as high as possible to get you a little ahead of the game. Alright, so now my inventory's about to fill up. You may be wondering, like, okay, so what are you going to do with 25 stone axes? Well, fortunately, you can scrape them. You don't get all of the resources back, but you get some of them. So, let's see, you get 3 stone back for 1 stone axe, and it costs you 5 to make it. Now, plant fibers are super easy to make. Usually, wood is easy to find, so you don't really have to worry about that. But the small stone the stone's usually a little bit more difficult. So to get 3 back out of your 5, I mean, obviously you're going to be using resources, but you get some back, so it's not awful. So that's why usually the last couple hours within a day, I try to, collect a bunch of the resources, the base stuff, the stone, the plant fiber, and the wood. However, being in the desert, I was really restricted to what I could find, but we'll make do. So, my stone axe was, what, level 8, level 9, and now it's 52. So, that makes things a lot better. So, wooden club. That's wooden bow. Now, bows do actually increase it quicker. Let's see. Let's say screw it and do it, and we'll make some bows. It'll increase the weapon crafting a little bit quicker. Now the sound effects are pretty creepy. I can hear zombies outside walking about, growling. Normally it wouldn't, bother me too much, but for the fact of how ill-equipped I am, it's like, crap. So, let's see, now let's make some clothes. Shirts increase the most, so that's usually what I do, just, if I have not enough slots to fill the job requisition, then I'm gonna count how many slots I have available, and then do that. But I can only make 11, and I know I have over 30 slots that I can do. This plant fiber armor, the level it is won't really affect a whole lot. I mean, let's see. Yeah, see, actually, all the stats stay the same other than the level, which will change how much durability it has. So, I mean, yeah, it's just plant fiber clothing doesn't really do a whole lot other than help a little bit with your temperature. So, most of the stuff you could probably just get rid of afterwards. I mean, obviously, just I'll equip the best they get out of it just because, but it won't make a whole lot of a difference. For the time being, I think I'm going to call that an episode. It's going to be daylight soon anyways, in just about an hour and a half on here. And when the daylight hits, we'll start episode 2. So, if you guys have any suggestions on the games you'd like to watch, suggest it. If I got it, I'll play it. If I don't, I'll see what I can do. If you have any suggestions on anything, just let me know. And then you guys know the drill. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to see more of my content, I would appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next episode.